So the Rebbe says, what's the type Knani? Knan, a place of business. So, and the Rebbe explains the idea of Yerida Tzedek Halil. Look, let's do 7 lines into page Shin Lamed Zayin. All of this is bedugmas inyan shel mischa. It's like idea of business. Kiven shahayirida hiletzerech aliyah, you go down to go up. Or mavur bahadrushim and Chassidus explains. She'inyan ze maskul kvar miyiris haneshama of guf. The very fact that neshama comes into the guf is the beginning of the business. Why? Because the guf of Gashmi is a gavaldike yirida. The Rebbe brings over here, which doesn't tell you that the guf of a person is lower than the guf of an animal. The Rebbe brings over here that the guf of a person is lower than the guf of an animal. Why? The guf of an animal was created together with the nefesh. In other words, the guf was never dead. The guf of a person, it says in Pasuk, Gol miro einecha. The Eibush made first a goylam and then vayipach. So the guf of a person is lower than the guf of the animal. The neshama of the person is higher, obviously, than the nefesh of the animal, but the guf is very, very low. Ubemela, that's the beginning of the mischa. Last 2 lines of the paragraph, ve'inyan zehu bedugmas inyan is Yerida Tzedek Halil. Yerida Tzedek Halil, kadei shaydeze yovel aliyah nalas yezeh to come to an even higher level. Because haya maimed amatzah living before. Now, Rabbi say you should b'chlal. When you talk about the kavanah sabriya, there's 2 expressions. One is dira b'tachteinim or birurim, and the other is Yerida Tzedek Halil. B'chlal, when you say the words Yerida Tzedek Halil, you're talking about the neshama. In other words, when we serve Hashem, we're doing 2 things. We're fixing the Eibishter's world and we're fixing ourselves. Fixing the Eibishter's world is called Dira B'tachtoinim and Birurim. Fixing ourselves is called Yerida Tzedek Halil. The Rebbe here uses the Lashon Yerida Tzedek Halil. But he means Tzedek Halil of the world. Not only Tzedek Halil of the person, the Tzedek Halil of the world. So Shai, let's talk this over. Yidden's purpose is to go into Eretz Nesheves and to become farmers and make a Dira B'tachtoinim. For this, you have to have Nesinas Koyach. And the Nesinas Koyach has 2 stages. Number 1, Torah, which is an Inyan Ruchni B'Yosef. And number 2, Meraglim. Why? Because you have to take it B'Gashmias. Before you go into Eretz Yisrael, you have to go into Eretz Yisrael and take it. Next paragraph. In order to transform the Gashmis, that the world should be better than it was before. So the first preparation, I'm on page Shin Lamed Zayin, 2nd paragraph, 3rd line. Yeah. First preparation is Matan Torah, which the Rebbe said is still Ruchnius. In order to go into Eretz Yisrael, it's not enough that the Eibush gave us a Torah and was bevatel gzeira, but there needs to be shlach lecha anoshim. You're sending anoshim, mechubadim and ksherim, v'yasur who said it's Canaan, and they're going to do reconnaissance in Eretz Canaan. Ish echad v'geimet. Each one of them is an ish, and the Rebbe says that it says in Chassidus vos meint ish echad. Each one of them in Aglim, when they went, was in such a high madrega that they were the madrega of Echad. And of course the Rebbe says Aleph is the Rosh Tevis of Echad, which goes on the Eibishter. And then you also have the Ches and the Dalid, which goes on the world. But the Aleph, Ches, Dalid means that the Eibishter is the Balabayas over the world. Each one of these Meraglim was a Ish Echad. Was in a madrege where he knew that everything is the Eibishter, and the Eibishter darf einnehmen in the Welt. Iberkeren, Ibermachen, the Ches and the Dalet. And Moshe is sending Meraglim, not because the Yidden are afraid, not because of any Cheshboines, but because the Eibishter wants to send Meraglim L'daita Shel Moshe. The Meraglim are sent L'daita Shel Moshe. That means Moshe's Das has to be a part of the Shlichus, because Moshe's Das is Negeya in the Shlichus. Not like we normally say that it's all about the lack of trust and so on and so forth. No. The Meraglim need to be sent. And the Rebbe says the last 2 lines, and by Moshe Rabbeinu sending Ish Echad, Keil Nosi Behem, or a man from each Shevet, who was holding a Madrega of Echad, who was the Nasi of the whole Shevet. He had a Kiva, and Chanasi Keil Skala Shevet Kula. Each Nasi included the whole Shevet. The fact that Ish Nasi went and he did his work, it opened up a path for all the people of the Shevet, that they should be able to go into Israel and take it. So the Meraglim are like a Dira B'Tachtoinim before a Dira B'Tachtoinim. Matan Teire is a bit like Zera, but it's still Ruchnius. But the Meraglim have to go to conquer Eretz Yisrael in a preliminary way, in an Asinas Koyach way, that the Yidden should be able to follow later. Yeah? And again, the way this Maimah goes, the Maimah is going to say, and they did it. That's how the Maimah is going to go. And they did it. This Maimah is not going to focus on the mistake of the Meraglim. Klal u'klal. Page Shin Lamed Ches. Ubeprati yis yoyser yesh gimel pirushim b'masha kosov losor eseres Canaan. This business that Meraglim have to go, because you have something called an Asinas Koyach, a provision of strength, an introduction to taking Eretz Yisrael. And the Asinas Koyach, the introduction to taking Eretz Yisrael, has 3 steps. And in this order, 2 steps. Matan Teira and Shiluach Meraglim. Says the Rebbe, the Shiluach Meraglim itself has 3 ideas. What are they? Look in the first paragraph. Roman numeral 1. Losod is Miloshin Tayar. Losod means what do they call a tayar? A tour guide. Shumayra derech. It shows you a derech. Number 2. Losud is miloshin toyar. Losud is from the word toyar. It's just missing an aleph, and it means to make beautiful. Losud, to machen shame. And losud is miloshin yisrei. Losud means to add. Before Yidden go into Eretz Yisrael, they send spies, and the inyan of the spies is 3 things. The yasuru, and the Rebbe is going to explain them backwards. They have to add something to Eretz Yisrael. They have to make Eretz Yisrael beautiful. And they have to create a derech at Eretz Yisrael so that Yidden should follow behind them. So the whole nother version of the story of the Meraglim, and we B'Klal pay very little attention to the fact that the Shlichus didn't work out precisely. It may not have worked out precisely, but they did the Shlichus. Hashem wants us to make a Dira B'Tachtoinim. Step 1, Shana Rishena Matan Teira. Step 2, Shana Shniya, Shliach Meraglim. Okay? And the Rebbe is going to explain each one. Number 8. Ubir ha'inyan. Hine. Inyana shall Eretz. Skip the parenthesis. Kvishu b'sfiris is Malchus. The idea of Eretz is Malchus. And he brings the famous pasuk which is brought all over Hasidus, that v'yisrin Eretz lak bakel hi. Shabbat ha-Malchus Eretz harach leisim shal yisrin. Malchus needs extra. You have to add something to Malchus. Malchus is whatever Malchus is, and you have to add to Malchus a yisrin. And he explains, V'hainu. We know that Malchus goes down into the lower worlds. Malchus goes down into the lower worlds. And he goes down into the lower worlds because of the sake of Yeridat Tzedach Aliyah. Malchus goes down to the lower worlds to elevate the lower worlds. Now read 8 lines in. Hine Yerida Zui Tzedach Aliyah. Malchus goes down into the lower world for the sake of Aliyah. Shaydezi Yetesef Yisrein. Malchus is going to have more. Says the Rebbe Omnam. You see the word Omnam? I circle the word Omnam. But Kadeshi Yitesef Yisrein. For Malchus to go down into the lower worlds. And we could say it in different words. In order for a neshama to go down into the lower worlds, to be able to make the Yeridat Tzedach Aliyah, says the Rebbe Hinei, Kivan she'ein chovush mater es atzmei, a person who is a prisoner cannot help himself, somebody else has to help him. Says the Rebbe Harei tzarich lovim u'maylo. To help, Malchus has to come from higher than Malchus. U'kedei she'nimtzah m'maylo menu yashpi aloi. In order for this that is above him to give him, tzarich lekabel heisafa v'negei la'atzmei. First, he gets a heisafa that touches him, va'az, and then he meets adriya riboy hashefa hariyu mashmamshach gam ba'aretz. Because there's a riboy hashefa, he's able to bring it to the Eretz as well. In other words, Eretz is Malchus. In order for Malchus to do what it needs to do, you have to strengthen Malchus. In order to strengthen Malchus, you have to bring a koyach from above Malchus. In order to bring a koyach from what's above Malchus also needs a koyach. And that's the touch in the pasuk. Yes, Bakoil. This is Kabbalah. Bakoil goes on Yesod. Why? I'm not going to tell you. Just remember that Avraham, Berech, As Avraham, Bakoil, right? Bakal, Mikal, Kel. Bakoil goes on Yesod. And Yisrael Eretz, Malchus gets extra koyach from Bakoil. But in order for Malchus to get extra koyach from Bakoil, which is Yisrael, Yisrael has to get koyach from what's even higher than Yisrael. That's how we read it. 6 lines from the bottom. Vayideze Nasa in the Yisrael Eretz. Eretz, I'm on page Shin Lamed Ches, 6 lines to the bottom. Malchus needs extra. In order for Malchus to have extra, what's above Malchus also has to have extra. This is the Yisrael Eretz, you add to Eretz, Bakoil, from what's higher than Eretz, by giving an extra koyach into Bakoil. In other words, you're not going to go into Eretz Yisrael to make a dideleis barach b'tachtainim. You need to give koyach. And I think it means you need to give koyach to Eretz Yisrael, to the world, to be able to have this Yisrael Yisrael. Says the Rebbe, 5 lines from the bottom of the page, that's why Meraglim are sent. Losur says Canaan, and the Taich Losur over here means to add to Eretz Canaan, to Gebet Eretz Canaan. Chekadei Lifel, in order for later Yidden to follow after the Meraglim. And Chayirida Yarda Eretz Canaan Til Tzerech Aliyah, that the Eibush took a Lakus, and he lowered it to the Madrega of Eretz Canaan. Eretz Canaan is a place of Klippa, but the whole purpose of the place of Klippa is Mishchir, profit from the Klippa. You're going to make Kedusha, which is going to be Yirida Tzerech Aliyah Ad Laliyachi Nailis, till the highest level of Aliyah Shehu in Losoras Aretz, which means Lifel Ba'aretz Gufa in Yosha Yisrael, that Eretz Yisrael itself, the world, should experience an Aliyah. Says the Rebbe, if Eretz Canaan, and as I explained to you before, Canaan is the name of all the 7 nations, and the 7 nations are a source of all the 70 nations. So Canaan means Welt. But Canaan means Welt in the sense that it's low, and the only reason it's low is for the sake of business. Mischad, Yerid Tzerech Aliyah. So the Moshe sends Meraglim, because the Meraglim are coming before the business people who are going to do their Gesheft, to give a koyach into Eretz Canaan that the business should be doable. And it starts with Moshe. Shlach l'chol l'daitecha. Why? Tzarech liyas ha'achon, 2nd line from the bottom of the page, Ayedei Moshe Rabbeinu, she'nyanu chochma. Moshe Rabbeinu has to come first. And he has to send Meraglim, which are going to add a Yisrael Eretz into Eretz Canaan, to make it a keli that later Yidden are going to come in and do the business and create the actual profit. You know that the Rebbetzin Chaim Mushka said to one of the shluchim about France, Miram ga'aket u'gezeit u'nirvet shnaim. The Rebbetzin Chaim Mushka said to one of the shluchis, we did all the work, you're going to harvest. It's an inyan ruchni. The Meraglim are sent to Akeren and Zayin to do a Yisrael, to add something to Eretz Canaan that later the Yidden are going to come along and they're going to profit. And it has to start with Moshe Rabbeinu, because Chochma, the Rebbe also connects Chochma to Malchus. I'm skipping it. She'etzle gufa tiya hamshocha ve'isafim u'mayla yesed. That Moshe Rabbeinu, who's the Madrega of Chochma, before he called him Das, now he's calling him Chochma, and I'm going to try not to worry about it. But Moshe Rabbeinu has to send the Meraglim to give a koyach into Eretz Canaan, that later we should lift it up. But Moshe needs more koyches from higher than Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Rebbe says, v'yeshloima b'derech efsher. When Moshe Rabbeinu was told by the B'shlach L'cha, and the Pirush is L'daitecha, and we always say that this is a siman that the Eibishter wasn't so happy. He says, Rebbe, no, you don't understand. How do we know that Shlach L'cha is L'daitecha? I'm asking a kasha. You learned Chumash, you went to Cheder, you're Jewish girls, yeah? How do we know that when it says Shlach L'cha, Hashem wasn't so happy with it? Because the L'cha is extra. It should say Shlach HaNoshim. Why L'cha? Sent to you, you sent for an Eibush. So Rashi learns l'daitecha. So in this Maimah we learn shlach l'chol l'daitecha, not I don't think it's a good idea, do what you think. Your das has to be involved. Here the Rebbe says more, shlach l'cha, in order for you to send Meraglim, I'm going to put more koyach into l'cha. Read the words. Ha'inyan zeh gufa, shoma meisha me'akadosh baruch hu, the Eibush that says meisha Rabbeinu, shlach l'chol l'daitecha, Vayedezeh nase toisvis oirei tzol Moshe. Moshe gets extra koyach. V'daitecha shal Moshe. U'b'loshna chasidis, that they add to Sfiras HaChochma, Sfiras HaKesed. Now, is this different or different than you're used to using? It's mamish. It's so different than all the Memorah of Shlach. Why? Because it's speaking only the Tzad HaChiyuv. Hashem tells Moshe, Daitecha, this was an Asinas koyach to Moshe. Moshe got koyches from higher than Moshe Rabbeinu to be able to bring to the Malchus, an extra koyach to send meraglim to prepare Eretz Canaan for the Yidden to come in and business. Hashem gives a koyach to Moshe from higher than Moshe. Shlach lecha, the Eibush gives more koyches to Moshe Rabbeinu, that Moshe should have the chokhmah, that Moshe should have the das to send the meraglim. And then you have Ashpa Mesiras HaChachma Lamata Ad Lamata Ba'oret Ad Shachach HaNoshim. Moshe sends mention. Kel Nasi Behem Shoy B'mayim V'Dematzim T'Ishach Ad Lashma Moram Anshe Meishe V'Heim Yashpiu V'Yifalo Ha'il Yisneres Bakeli they should add a Yisn to Eretz Yisrael. And if I understand it correctly, and I honestly am not 100% sure, but I believe that the Pshat is that the Meraglim go into Eretz Yisrael and they give Eretz Yisrael a koyach which is called Yisrei, that later Yidden should be able to come and profit. So it's like v'yasuru, that the Meraglim should give a koyach to Eretz Yisrael, they should plow and seed, that when the Yidden will come in, they'll be able to harvest. He's talking about Eretz Yisrael, but the Neshama is also called Eretz, right? Moshe Rabbeinu gives a koyach into the Neshama of a Yid to make the Dina B'Tachtainim. It's a bit different, but I think it's not contradictory. This is the different aspect. The Maimon is talking about Eretz Yisrael, but l'chayre you could say it about the Neshama. So listen to this. There's no mistakes. Hashem is happy. It has to be. There has to be Meraglim. Has to. Why? Because they're the Nesinas Koyach to go into Eretz Yisrael. Next. And by the way, the next paragraph I don't understand. Klal klal. V'hine. Kivin shesfiras ha-malchus mitzadat ve'bechinas nekuda. Malchus by itself is only a pinteler. And the Rebbe has a whole thing about Binyan HaMalchus and Yeridas HaMalchus. Minchas is only a pinteler. And of course, in this case, it means Eretz Canaan is only a pinteler. So the Rebbe says in this middle paragraph, on page Shin Lametes, fourth line, L'chein tzarech li is gam ha'inyan di yasura miloshin toyar. You have to make Eretz Canaan beautiful. Kapidish HaBeis. Hanish mebli HaBeit al kach shetes sfiras im eifin shel Yerida. Even though so much of Malchus goes into the lowest world, Yihiyeh binyan HaMalchus, Malchus should be built up. Read at the end of the paragraph. Malchus should be beautiful. And I really don't know what this means. I don't know what it means. I'll tell you what it says, but I don't understand what the Rebbe is saying. The Rebbe is saying is you have to send Meraglim to Eretz, as the preparation to Yidden going into Eretz and making a Dira B'Tachtein. One of the things the Meraglim did was they made Eretz so beautiful. Shame. And then Yidden are going to come in and do the Bira. Why do they have to make it beautiful? Because Malchus by itself isn't beautiful and it needs to be beautified. That's what it says. What does it mean in Pnimis HaYonim? IDK. I don't know. Next paragraph. So we now know that sending Meraglim is a great idea. The Eibusha supports it 100%. The Eibusha says, as I say, Ani ba'ad. I'm in. Maskim. The Eibusha agrees. You have to send Meraglim. Why are you sending Meraglim? Because you have to have a Nesinas Koyach. If you're going to make a Dira Leis Barach with Achtem, you have to have a Nesinas Koyach. The Nesinas Koyach begins with Torah, B'Shana Rishayna. It continues with Shiluach Meraglim, B'Shana Ashniya. The Meraglim are adding a Yisrain to Eretz Yisrael. And the Meraglim are adding a Toyah, a beauty to Eretz Yisrael. And then there's a third taich. Loshen Tayur. Tayur means a tour guide. Shein Yoneh made a derech. That means to show a way. Hainullah says derech Hashem be Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael to make derech Hashem. There's a whole discussion in Chassidus about roads. There's a mind from the Mittler Rebbe B'Yura Zein and Vayishlach. There's a mind from the Rebbe Rashab. Ki Yisharim Darach Yavai from Tafresh Pei. It's a whole sugi in Chassidus. Roads. In Kabbalah, the road is the Kav. The Kav, which was Nimshach after the Tzimtzum Rishon, this is the Derech Hashem. Derech Hashem means that when you do Torah mitzvahs, you have to have a path. You don't just do a mitzvah here and a mitzvah, there's a path. And you have to know the path. And if you walk on the path, it's good. If you don't walk on the path, it's not so good. And there's a Derech Havai, there's a channel through which all the Hashpoyas are Nimshach, Mulmaylo Lamat, and you have to know the Derech. You're going into Eretz Canaan, which is a land of Goyishkeit, it's a place of Hel and Behester. The Meraglim are going to find in Eretz Yisrael the Derech Hashem and prepare it for Klal Yisrael. They're going to find the Derech Havai. So they're doing three things. They're adding a koyach to Eretz Yisrael to be businessed, to be knand. They're making Eretz Yisrael beautiful, and they're creating a derech. They're finding the path in Eretz Yisrael, the derech Hashem in Eretz Yisrael for the Dida B'Tachtonim, for the Yidden to follow. And the Rebbe says, Ube'ofen shel psichas derech. They're not just creating a path, they're opening a path. And the Rebbe brings from the Lashon HaZoyar, we find sometimes in the Zayir, Rab Shimon Omar, Rab Chia Omar, and sometimes it says Rab Shimon Posach. What's the difference between Omar Rab Shimon and Rab Shimon Posach, or Posach Rab Shimon? The difference is that Rab Shimon Omar means he's saying Advar Teira in an area of Teira which already exists from before. He's adding something new. Posach Rab Shimon is opening up a new gate. It's a brand new inyan, Psichas Hatzina. The Meraglim went into Eretz Yisrael, Losur Es Haaretz, to create a road. And the Rebbe says it's not just to find the road, it's to push it, create it. So the Meraglim are amazing. Yeah? V'hainu, 3 lines from the bottom. You have to have a beginning. Who is doing the beginning? The Meraglim. Only beginnings are hard. Nasis derech slula. It becomes a ois gitrot the clear, trodden out path. L'chol aboy li'achaz, all that come later. Sheyuchlu lasas, they should be able to do it. Bekalas yesed, it should be easier. Ubezrizis yesed, it should be quicker and more efficient. Ad yam yeh b'shleimus. So the Meraglim are creating the derech havayeh that Yidna going to Avram Avinu, it says v'shamru derech Hashem. The Meraglim had to create the derech Hashem. So you thought the Meraglim were bad people. You thought Moshe Rabbeinu Kvayachal was erroring. Nicht in dem Maimon. Shlach lecha, the Eibush is a koyach to Moshe Rabbeinu. That using Moshe Rabbeinu's daitachon, Moshe Rabbeinu's chokhmah, he gives a koyach to Meraglim. V'yasuru. V'yasuru means they're going to add additional inyanim to Eretz Canaan beautifully, and most importantly, they're going to find in Eretz Canaan derech Hashem, and then the Yidden are going to follow. And they can make a dinner turn the page Shin Mem. Shayedei Shiluach Kol Nosi Behem Loteres Haaretz. The Meraglim was sent ahead to do losso, to add to Eretz Yisrael, to beautify Eretz Yisrael, and to find a derech Hashem, to create a derech Hashem itself. Later in Yonah Shal Haaretz know everything about Eretz Yisrael. That they walked, there was a tough parsa. Malach Asara parsa, b'yem, 3rd line from the top of the page. U'ba'oifen shal v'hischazachtem. They didn't just go into Eretz Yisrael and give, add extra light, add beauty, and create derech Hashem. They took peiros, and aviyam l'reshusam shel bnei Yisrael. They brought these fruit back. When the Meraglim went, and they took fruit, and they brought them back, and the Yidden got the fruit of Eretz Yisrael, and there is a polo inyan. This allowed Yidden to accomplish. And you see, I did it in the numbers backwards. Gimel Beis Aleph, Yisen Eretz Bakeli. That they were able to add to Eretz Yisrael. Musa Yitzhak became whole and beautiful. And in doing this, they prepared the road for Yidden to conquer Eretz Yisrael. So the Meraglim went, they brought back fruit. Every single detail of the story which we see as negative, in this Maim is positive. They went to bring koyach to Eretz Yisrael, to set up Yidden coming in. They took back fruit to see to it that these koyach were carried out. Next paragraph. We talk over Moshe sent to the big tzaddikim. Sakoyim b'tzaddikim, like it says in the Meditation of Bezayar, Umachon, Ulamalas Hashlichas, they were prepared to fulfill their mission. Of Yasur, who says, K'na b'chol gimel yaneim now, to do all 3 in Yanim of Yasuru, to add to Eretz Yisrael, to beautify Eretz Yisrael, and to create and to find. Derech Hashem in Eretz Yisrael, hini la'achar zeh nepach liba. The heart was turned over, because it says in the Meditation Aleim Nemar, Kider tapu chesema. They're a generation that turned, they changed colors. And the Rebbe says in the bracket that this is an Iyim for Neira Alila b'nei Yoda. Now we're reading 7 lines into the paragraph. Then we know what happened. Right? And the Rebbe explains it up. And so on and so forth, right? So the Meraglim came back. It wasn't good. Look at the last 5 lines from the end. Aval afa pikein. Don't matter. The Rebbe is pushed not goyris the chet ha-Meraglim. Not goyris. The Meraglim had a shlichus that was given them by Moshe Rabbeinu, with the Nesinas Koyach from the Eibishter to the Chochmah of Moshe Rabbeinu and the Daitach of Moshe Rabbeinu, and they fulfilled their shlichus. What about the fact that they stunk it up? But the shlichus hat sich ausgeführt. That's how the Rebbe sees this. Yeah, we know Sheyeshna haftacha v'anesinas koyach. We have a promise and esinas koyach. Me'amakom shel ma'ilo b'teiv v'tu gam yachad. Harezegneisen keach lapech es ha'inyan shel der ta'apuches. Even though the meraglim at the end went array, they went bad, they did their shlichus, and we're able to come after them and go into Eretz Yisrael and make a dira b'tachtainim, and even to correct them. V'alderach v'afachti l'sostan simcha l'teva, that from the Yida l'bira amikta you have an aliyah gedel b'yesem. I cannot remember learning a minor like this on the meraglim. The meraglim had a mission, and they did it, and it was good, and Moshe was right, and the Eibishter was on board. The meraglim messed it up. That's an afapikain. It's a detail, and that's it. These few lines. That's the only part of this Maimah. How many Maimah have you learned on meraglim? It's all about the Chet HaMeraglim. Here's the Maimah. It's not Chet HaMeraglim. Shlichus HaMeraglim. Und sie haben euch geführt, sie ist Shlichus. That's what it says. And then the Rebbe finishes, this is the Ahirah to each one of us. It says the Rebbe,